Hello, welcome in. It is so good to see you. Welcome in and welcome back. This is Crime Time Buzz. We are here to do a deep dive on the case for Jack and Lily Sullivan. Jack, 4 years old, and Lily, 6 years old, both missing since May 2nd from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome in, everyone. We're going to get right to it. It's a very rural area. 100 population of 100 in that little area where they're from, and they have not been seen. The scent ended at the end of the driveway. There was a boot print, but they're not certain if it belongs to one of the children. And Canadian police are treating this suspiciously as a suspicious disappearance, but they say that's what they do for all missing persons. So welcome in, hit that thumbs up on your way in. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. We're going to be discussing Jack and Lily Sullivan today. Sorry I couldn't get back on last night. My plans ended up going a little longer than I planned. So good to see you all. We had such a good time yesterday. So we are going to get started. Jack and Lily Sullivan, Jack 4, Lily 6, were reported missing out of Nova Scotia, Canada. Oops, hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, so Jack and Lily, Jack 4, Lily 6, living with, we're going to do a deep dive so you'll be all caught up. Yes, the scent went to the end of the driveway, as that is their route to the school bus. Now, you all, I'm just diving in, so you may have a lot that I don't know. In my opinion, the scent went to the end of the driveway, as that is their route to the school bus. All righty. Okay, that's the route. Okay. So what, oops, sorry. So are you thinking, that, I want to hear your all's theories too. The scent would end because the bus picks them up there, correct? Correct. And I also learned that it's an area of 100, population 100. People who've lived there for generations, and there's very little traffic. They have logging vehicles, some local traffic, very few local cars is the norm, as well as the school bus. So indeed, the school bus does pick them up. I am not sure the exact location. I'm just deep diving in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming on in. We are going to begin. Now, the children were reported missing. They live with, they say it's the stepdad, but I've heard boyfriend and partner as well. His name is Daniel, and the mother. In this it reminds me very much of Summer Wells. I will, if any of you have followed the Summer Wells case, the environment, the house, the environment reminds me quite a bit of Summer Wells. Hi, Frank. Hey, Women's Warrior. Good to see you all. So they lived with mom and mom's partner, as she put it. The mom and the partner, Malehya and Daniel, have a 16-month-old named Meadow. And then Malehya's children, Jack and Lily Sullivan, 4 and 6. And I'll hit that thumbs up and notification bell. I've got some stuff on the family dynamics, family individuals, and we'll get into that tomorrow. So it's mysterious. It is being treated as suspicious, but Canadian police say that is because they treat all missing children as suspicious. Very interesting. Now, if you want, oops, sorry. If you want to follow me after with the deception detective, because he did analyze this, interviews and things, we can go ahead and do that. And that's what I'll set a goal for. Hold on 1 second. Let me start it for us. So welcome in, everyone. We are beginning right now. I'll start it in just a second. With the press conference from police, law enforcement no longer believes that the kids are alive. And I saw it explained as they figured it out through survivability out in the woods alone at their age. Hello, Angel of Light. Hello, Frank, Maria, Stephen. Good to see you. Dinkster, Rosalie. We are going to get started with the most recent press conference. This is Jack and Lily Sullivan. I have photos of the area, comments from the neighbor, pictures of the home showing you. I have we have lots we can go through. We're going to deep dive and then we're just going to pick the case up and keep rolling with it. But I am not forgetting Sebastian. I want you to know that. My next live is on Sebastian, on it being clear to me, in my opinion, that it all went down on Sunday. And there is something that CP said that I caught in an interview. You don't want to miss it. Hit the like button. I mean, it's plain as day, in my opinion. So Jack and Lily Sullivan, here is the High Phoenix Rising Fire. Hi, Joanne McNeil. We are getting right to the press conference, and then we're going to pick up the case and dive deep. Thank you for being here.
Public Information Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. Bonjour, je suis la capitale Carly McCann, agent d'information publique pour la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years. Premièrement, je reconnais que nous nous trouvons aujourd'hui à Mi'kma'ki, le territoire ancestral traditionnel et non cédé du peuple Mi'kmaq. Je reconnais également que les Néo-Écossais d'origine africaine constituent un peuple distinct dont l'histoire, l'héritage et les contributions ont enrichi la partie du Mi'kmaq connue sous le nom de la Nouvelle-Écosse depuis plus de 400 ans. At this time, I invite the following officers to the podium with me. Inspector Mike Ingles, District Policing Officer for Northeast Nova District RCMP, Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District Commander, Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, Acting Officer in Charge of Major Crimes and Behavioral Sciences Group, and Amy Hansen, Search Manager with Colchester Ground Search and Rescue.
Oh, God.
Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon will provide you with an overview of the efforts to find Lily and Jack. He will review the search and investigation that began on Friday morning and provide the current status and next steps. We will take questions from media present following that. I invite Staff Sergeant McKinnon to the podium. J'invite maintenant le Sergent d'État McKinnon à prendre la parole. Merci.
Thank you all for being here today. First of all, our thoughts go to the family and loved ones of Lily and Jack Sullivan, to their communities, and to everyone who's worked day and night in an effort to find the children and bring them home. Since the first 911 call was received by the RCMP, reporting that 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack had wandered away from their home on Garlick Road in Lansdowne Station, a multi-agency search has been underway. Teams have been working around the clock. This search has included many agencies, including volunteer ground search and rescue teams from across Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, known as CASERA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, Nova Scotia Public Safety and Field Communications, Nova Scotia Guard, Joint Rescue Coordination Center, Salvation Army, the Canada Heavy Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 5, and several RCMP units, including police dog services and drone operators. Since Saturday, because we treat all missing person files as suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise, our Major Crimes Unit has been engaged. It's been an all-hands-on-deck effort using every available resource and tool. Since the search began on May 2nd, it has been concentrated in the Garlic Road area and has covered 4 square kilometers of heavy, wooded, rural terrain. Up to 160 trained volunteer searchers, along with many others, have been involved in the search each day. Tens of thousands of search hours have been dedicated to scouring the area, and GSAR has confirmed that over 100 tracks have been laid using GPS and grid searches. Efforts to locate Lily and Jack have also included 2 vulnerable missing person alerts, posting their children's photos and information on Nova Scotia RCMP website and social media accounts. Our social accounts have more than 300,000 followers, and releasing information to local media as well as reporters across the country. Lily and Jack have made headlines from coast to coast. While the search has been ongoing, RCMP officers continued with the missing person investigation, speaking with family and community members to gather tips and other information that could help locate the children. We have not received any confirmed reports of sightings. Lily and Jack's family has been provided with regular updates on the search and on the missing person investigation. They've also been afforded supports. As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lily and Jack will be scaled back. We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches of more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We want to circle back to increase the probability that all clues have been found. And when transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. I want to assure you that our missing persons investigation continues. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lily and Jack are and can bring them home. We'll continue to investigate and chase leads for as long as and as hard as we have to. We have the best investigators working every aspect of the file. We continue to appeal to anyone who have information related to our investigation and who has not yet spoken to us to contact the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers. Before I close, I want to reiterate that our hearts go out to Lily and Jack's family, to the community, and the people who've worked so incredibly hard to date. Many of us have children of our own and have wanted nothing more than to reunite Lily and Jack with their loved ones. Thank you.
Hi, Barb. That's interesting where he said, we have to consider the facts when you go from an active to a scale back search. And I'm paraphrasing, basically the probability of survival or the state at that time. We can use that information in all our cases. He was choking up, wasn't he? Let's keep listening. This is the press conference for Jack and Lily Sullivan from Nova Scotia, Canada. Jack 4, Lily 6. Reported missing May 2nd. This is May 7th. They are scaling back, circling the search, the overall search to specific areas that they have already searched. I know they have gone back towards the family home. The family home where the kids, I started to tell y'all, the kids live on the property, and I have photos to show you. Very reminiscent of the Summer Wells case, in my opinion. Hi, Gypsy. Hi, Whispering Winds. They live there with the stepfather, the mother, in the mobile home. And then on that property, there's you wouldn't think someone lived in it. And I'm not saying that in any judgmental way. I'm saying that when you look at the photos, the grandmother lives in there of the stepfather. That is their property. So Malehya has been living there for about 2 years. Just to give you a little background. I'm sure many of you know that, but if you're new to the case, we're diving in, we're learning it together, and we're going to take it from here, along with Sebastian and Jonathan Hong and Michael Vaughn and the others and Summer. Let's keep going. Thank you for being here. Please hit the thumbs up.
Okay, a scaled back search. I kind of predict that may come.
I'll now provide his remarks in French. Merci à tous d'être présents aujourd'hui. Tout d'abord,
conferences. It's
Rob McCammon.
She was repeating it in French.
Robert.
And this is
And,
full credit to
NCCA
Night
LON.
Times Podcast YouTube channel.
So Major Crime became involved very early in the investigation. We're able to bring in some specialized knowledge and skill sets, and we help with the information management and decision making. As we scale back, as we've identified, there are certain areas that are going to be relooked at that could contain a confined area perhaps, and maybe need some more specialized search areas. But I'll leave that to the search crews to expand on. And we're going to continue pursuing any leads or information that comes in, and the stuff that we do have. We have engaged in all areas of the RCMP. All tools that are available to us are being considered and engaged when appropriate.
do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, as a follow-up, that I guess the general population looks at it and says, "You've searched very thoroughly this area.
Mhm.
You would have found them
Mhm.
if they were there," which then makes people, certainly on social media, people are assuming, rightly or wrongly, that there's a criminal element to this.
Sure.
And can you? I know. What can you tell me about that? Your work on that potential.
Well, I can't really speculate on the investigation, obviously. That wouldn't be fair to the process. But we are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets of available information, and we'll make decisions on that. I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go.
So is there questions? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Nicholas again with CBC National News. You at first said it wasn't suspicious. You think the kids just wandered off. Now you're saying every missing person's investigation is considered suspicious. Is it still suspicious? Are there any suspects here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the details of the investigation, but I will comment when somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider those, are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person can be relooked at that could contain a confined area perhaps, and maybe need some more specialized search areas. But I'll leave that to the search crews to expand on. And we're going to continue pursuing any leads or information that comes in, and the stuff that we do have. We have engaged in all areas of the RCMP. All tools that are available to us are being considered and engaged when appropriate.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, as a follow-up, that I guess the general population looks at it and says, "You've searched very thoroughly this area.
Mhm.
You would have found them
Mhm.
if they were there," which then makes people, certainly on social media, people are assuming, rightly or wrongly, that there's a criminal element to this.
Sure.
And can you? I know. What can you tell me about that? Your work on that potential.
Well, I can't really speculate on the investigation, obviously. That wouldn't be fair to the process. But we are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets of available information, and we'll make decisions on that. I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go.
So,
So is there questions? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
okay, Nicholas again with CBC National News. You at first said it wasn't suspicious. You think the kids just wandered off. Now you're saying every missing person's investigation is considered suspicious. Is it still suspicious? Are there any suspects here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the details of the investigation, but I will comment when somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider those, are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process. A methodical, collection and review of information with decisions based on that.
And the family has said they believe it's an abduction or they suspect it's an abduction. Are there now any clues or anything leading you to think that that might be possible?
If we had any information that led that way and we felt that we could provide anything with the public, we would have done that. We would have got that information out. We're working very closely with the family and we will pursue every avenue. But again, I'm not going to make any specific comments, but anything that would point towards that, we would immediately take steps to address things that need to be addressed.
Blair Rhodes, CBC. I think this question is most appropriate to Staff Sergeant. You talked about survivability. I was wondering if you could address that specifically, given the ages of the two missing children and the weather conditions we've experienced this week.
Yeah. So the incident command.
So he is saying that they are pursuing every lead that, excuse me, and the stuff they do have. I caught that. So they've got something, whether it's info from people, I'm not sure, but he said, and the stuff we do have. So, but he did mention charter applications. So I'm going to have to check into that and see what he's talking about there. Barb, I saw where you said 1,000 people. An article I found said 100 people. So I'm wondering, I'm going to dig back into that too. But you say it's an area with, it's isolated. Indeed it is. Wait till I show it to y'all. Domestic violence is a problem in that community, as well as opioids and poverty. Yes, very, very, for those of you who follow the Summer Wells case, very reminiscent to me of Summer's environment. So
person with the RCMP, along with the search manager, at some point have to make a decision when would it scale back the search, and a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. A lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
I hate to ask this, but given their age and the conditions, if they were still in the woods, do you think they would still be alive?
I guess it goes back to all those factors that have to come into play, right? So we are scaling back because it's time to move to a different part of the search.
First off, CTV, scale back versus active search. I know yesterday there was a number at or around 140 searchers on the ground before square kilometers, you said. Can you quantify what scale back is, like fewer searchers, smaller area, larger area? How does that look going forward? Yeah,
so just to go to the first point, there's been a lot of searchers here, and we can't thank them enough for being here. They've given up. A lot of them have been here since day one, and they have given up. Some have taken time off work. Some have left their families behind, and we are very grateful for that. Saying that, we will look in on them and their senior managers to give us some recommendations of what else we can do. But we will take that and we will explore whatever we have and whatever we can do to check it in spots that need to be checked or whatever. But at this point in time, after today, we just won't see all these searchers here.
Sure. Amy, if you're comfortable with that.
Thank you. I saw a person yesterday who was dressed like you, limping, being carried out. People are hot and sweaty to the South Services point. A lot of hard work. Can you talk about how rough it was in the woods? Like, it looks almost impassable. What did you see? What did your people and your team see when you went into this wilderness?
Well, these woods, they are very thick. There's a lot of the hurricane damage from Fiona a couple of years ago, and we've had teams struggling to get through areas, and I can't see anything more about the searchers. They're pushing through all of these areas, going through all of these deadfalls, going through waterways and anything possible just to cover their search areas. So we know that everything has been so thoroughly searched that it's time to, as they say, scale back. And we are exhausting people, and we're starting to see more injuries coming back the last couple of days. and it's hard terrain. Amy Hansen.
And
SEN.
And I will note as well, having had the opportunity to participate yesterday in a helicopter search as well, it is immensely clear looking from above, based on the orange tags on the trees, how thoroughly and meticulously the area has been searched, based on the indications you can see even from up in the air of how thorough the searches are. So I also give a hats off to the many searchers who have participated here in support of finding Lily and Jack. Yeah, would you like to go ahead?
Just with the search still continuing in the forest, is there evidence that the children are in the forest?
Very slowly.
Are radios able to pick up Staff Sergeant McKinnon here with this train? Or? That's it. Okay. We'll
wait.
We'll wait.
They're going to wait till that train passes for them to answer it. But I see people in the chat
Missing the ongoing. I'll note as well the
missing for 2 days, was found alive.
I'll note as well the reason that the train is passing by slowly is out of respect for the fact that Lily and Jack are missing here. So it's passing slow in order to have their staff be aware and note the ongoing missing person investigation happening in the area here. So that just does again speak to the number of people involved and aware of this search and everything that's happening in this area, and the awareness and the way that the information has spread so widely through Nova Scotia and Canada. So I think we were with your question.
It was just about, would you guys still investigate on searching for children in the forest? Have you found any evidence that they are in the forest?
Okay. Have we found any evidence that they are?
Yeah, so at one point there was a possible boot impression found, and I can tell you that the search and rescues then performed grid searches of that area and expanded out from that area in a meticulous fashion. They're focused and tight searches, and nothing else was found. It appeared it was a possible boot print of a smaller boot print. So when we have a possibility like that, that's when we exhaust that area as well. So make sure that wasn't a clue that we were missing.
I'm wondering, I understand canine units have been involved. Have cadaver dogs been involved?
Oh, United Cajun.
I don't believe cadaver dogs have been involved at this point yet.
Will they become involved?
That-
And I'd also like to circle back to Claire's question on survivability. If you could give a little bit more detail there about how you're making the equation of bringing in cadaver dogs and assessing survivability.
So cadaver dogs could be the next step in terms of part when we talk about scaling back. That could be another option that we now look at using. And getting back to that point, I mean, that decision was made based on a lot of factors. And if we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there.
Aww.
Does that mean that no plans yet?
Not that I'm worried. I can speak to of the cadaver dogs are coming or not. I can't speak to it.
Is there a question here? So do you two have something global? Okay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Jones from the Globe and Mail. Wondering if you can clarify, we heard major crime has been involved since Sunday, is that correct?
Saturday morning.
Since Saturday, okay. So do you believe the children met foul play?
Do you want to talk?
Again, I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time. But right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics.
So, but you don't believe the children are alive any?
No, based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Okay, and can I just ask one more question about this scaling back of the search? Are you reducing the number of searchers out there, or is it being concentrated just with RCMP now, or how is that looking differently on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So the searchers will be finishing at the end of their operational period today, and now it'll come back to the Pictou District RCMP, and we'll make decisions and put in plans of how we move forward.
So rather than having the large presence here, the massive number of searchers on scene every day, searches will be based on information that comes in and specifics in order to make things pointed and specific to areas that are pinpointed or specific to a search need. I believe we've gone through the group for questions at this point. So out of respect for the police officers here and the many searchers who are still there, I'd like to conclude our media availability today. Oh, sorry, is there one person with, sorry, my apologies, sorry.
Alex Terrio, Stingray Radio. You mentioned they're circling back to find clues. You talked about the blueprints. Are there anything you're looking to find, expecting to find, or usually find in these situations?
We're looking for any type of clue, any information to help us out. And then we'll take that information and work forward from that.
Second follow-up, is the blueprint still involved in the search process, or was that deemed to be not relevant?
I can't say it's not relevant, but it was the search was exhausted in that area, and we were not able to find any more clues or evidence in that area. So.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can you clarify? You just said to the previous question that the ground search and rescue is being called, like the volunteers are being called off after today?
Yes, at the end of the operational period today, they will be done.
Can you see that in French?
Sorry, that's a horrible picture to leave her on. Hold on 1 second. Okay. That was credit to Nighttime Podcast YouTube channel. So let me make sure. Very interesting. So they are not going to comment. Hey, YouTuber, they don't want to comment on whether or not they were bringing in cadaver dogs at that point. And they exhausted the area of the boot print, and they're not saying it's not relevant, but there's no other clues in that area. What was really sad is if we thought they were alive, we'd still be out there searching. Oh, goodness. So these two little kids, let's keep diving into the case. I've got the school, the maps, the areas, and I want to share them with you. So we can follow this case like we're following Sebastian and keep going with Jonathan Hong and some of the kids. Just heartbreaking. Before we get to the mom's audio, I want to show you, make sure you're seeing it. I want to show you this home. Okay. So this is the property here. And it says the lost pair aren't the outdoorsy types wanting to come back home as soon as their boots or clothes got wet or dirty. So this is highly unusual, Martell said. That's Daniel Martell, the stepdad boyfriend. Typically, they play in the fenced-in backyard of the family's home. And it looks fairly fenced. However, there is an opening right here in this backyard fence. So it's not completely secured here. Look at that property. Does that not remind you a little bit of Summer Wells' home? Okay. This is the back of their mobile home. This is where they are saying and they got out. The sliding glass door open. Now look at that slider. They said it's so quiet, it never makes a noise. Now, one thing I will say is the condition of that slider, it looks quite old to me. See? It looks like it would maybe make a noise. Most sliders do make a noise, but my goodness, we need to start putting alarms on sliders and things, right? So that's the sliding door that is said to be the exit point, according to Malehya and Daniel, the mother and stepfather. We'll say stepfather. This is where at the end of the driveway where the scent stopped. From what I'm hearing from you all, that's also where the bus picks up. A lot of terrain in here, okay? I mean, wait till we look at it, but there's the exit point. The ever silent slider does concern me. You know, I would think you would hear that pull open. Yes, I'm getting to the party. I do have information. Hi, Black Skies. Thank you, Black Skies. I saw that. I got home later than I thought last night, and things have just gotten away from me. I still gonna list all the prizes and get all that organized for everyone too. We had a wonderful Mother's Day celebration here on the channel. If you missed it, go back and watch. Yeah, it really doesn't look safe, does it? Look at the area. I mean, look at the mattress outside. Just reminds me a lot of summer. Or got into drugs. Oh, that's a theory. Yes, it does not look safe, my friend. So that's the area. This is the road, and I'm going to show it to you on the maps too, Google Earth. And there's the slider, the exit point. So from here to here is where they got to allegedly. If indeed we go by the exit point to where a scent stopped. Okay, that's as far as they got. This is the area. It's called Lansdowne Station. Now, in my research, I found out, and I'll double check because Barb's saying 1,000, and I'll double check for both of us. Population roughly 100 people, but I bet Barb knows. And most, because I'm just diving into the case. This is just one article that said 100, so I'm going to go with Barb probably. Good job, Barb. Population roughly 100 or 1,000 people, and most are related and been there for generations. The closest town is 15 minutes away. It is at the corner of Pictou County. Logging trucks, a few local cars, and the school bus are the only usual traffic. There's a network of backcountry roads that only the locals know that crisscross over rivers and dense forest that is swarming with black flies. Yeah. That's such a great point. What would the RMCP do if stepdad said you'll never find them? Bet he'd be in jail, in my opinion. Yes, thank you. I have a brand new home and my slider isn't quiet opening or closing. Thank you. Mine either. Mine's not so silent that I don't hear it when it moves, right? So look at this area. Okay, this is the road. Oh, let me get over there so I can show you. This is the road that they live on. Okay. And I have some information from the neighbor as well. For those of you just coming in, we are discussing Jack and Lily Sullivan, 4 and 6 years old, missing. I also checked into their school, their calendar, just to make sure it was a day off. And I checked in to see what program they would have for a 4-year-old. So I'm getting to that too. So here is the timeline of a few things that we know before we bring in the parents' interviews. Okay. Something that you all were mentioning and that does put a little red flag or a question mark is the kids were off school for 2 days before they were reported missing. So April 28th and 29th, the kids were at school at Salt Springs Elementary. April 30th, school was closed, which is a Wednesday. Thursday, May 1st and Friday, May 2nd, kids, Lily and Jack, did not attend school because Lily had a cough. I'm not saying anything other than It's always a concern when the kids aren't at school before they go missing. And I'm not saying making accusations. This is just a fact in many cases. It doesn't bode well in many cases when the kids haven't been at school. Now, Daniel wasn't at school also. The stepfather on Friday, he said, I saw in an article that he said it's slow at work right now. Okay. Friday, May 2nd, the parents heard the kids at 8:30 a.m. playing in the room next to them. Mom said bedroom. I believe dad said, or stepdad said they were in the kitchen, but at 8:30 a.m. Friday, May 2nd, that same day, they were reported missing at 10 a.m. Now we're going to watch the interviews, looking for anything that might set up a red flag. I believe mom does say they called instantaneously. I believe stepdad says he went around, drove around the roads in the Culvers, and then they called 911, and he was his throat hurt so bad from screaming. Now, stepdad is the one who's out looking. So, a lot to unwrap here. The family had a fight on May 2nd, an argument, because Malehya's family accused, he's working one shift a week. Thank you, Gypsy. That's good. That is awfully slow, isn't it? Hold on one second. Malehya's family accused Daniel of doing something, and there were fights between the family, and Daniel's mother kicked them off the property, and Malehya left with her mother and blocked him. No communication. There's different things out there as to why that occurred. Some are saying CPS told her to take 16-month-old Meadow and leave and not speak to him. Others are saying it was because of the fight that she left. Hello, welcome, new member. Write that down. Welcome, Justice. Saturdays, 1 p.m. are our family reunions. Everyone, please welcome Justice for Kylo in. Thank you. And we have a goal. If you all want to, we'll stay after and watch the deception detective analyze the stepfather's interviews. Yikes. And they're any chat color today. Any. Welcome in, Justice. So they were reported missing. Daniel wasn't at work because things are slow. And I'll add that he does one shift a week. Then we did hear I heard in one version that the kids were told to be quiet because Meadow was sleeping. And I heard in another version that mom and stepdad were in the bedroom feeding Meadow. And I've also heard they were sleeping in and out, going back, woke up about 8:30, heard him, and then went in and out back to sleep, dozing in and off. Oh, you're just reunion. I was going to say, Justice, I thought so. But I still welcome you. Welcome back in. Thank you for renewing and for your support. Much appreciated. Hey, Panda Bear's mom. Yes. You know how we know that I believe it? And I was just going to say that to y'all is, so she took Meadow, but I found a article where Daniel is quoted saying he went to CPS to see his 16-month-old daughter, and they would not allow him to see Meadow. And then he said, because the other kids are missing, CPS is really locking things down tight. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Great question. So I believe it's true. I do have that in my slideshow, his quotes. So very interesting. And also, if they're blocked from each other, well, I guess she'll get information regarding if the kids come home from law enforcement, not relying on him. Yes, there's neighbors talking about a party. I've got that in here too. We're just doing our deep dives this time. Okay. Salt Springs Elementary, this is the school. I verified there is a pre-primer class for Jack, which would be pre-kindergarten. They have kindergarten 1 combined classes too. And so then I saw that they have pre-primer because I was trying to figure out why the 4-year-old would be going to the school. So they would be going, and they were indeed off. All schools had no classes on April 30th. For high school progress conferences, teacher professional practice day, and professional development. Okay. So that's all verified. The kids were there the 2 days before here, the 28th and 29th they attended. School was closed on the 30th, and they did not attend in the month of May. And were reported right here on Friday. And there's their school. Salt Springs Elementary. Wait, real quick. Yeah, okay. Let me get back to Mom's interview real quick. We're going to go listen to Mom's interview right here. This is credit to Stacy J. Let me make sure you're with me. Good. I'm figuring out this slideshow thing now where I don't have to go out and in and many.
Just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home.
Let me make sure I'm on the, oops, sorry.
I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Great comments you all have, by the way. Excellent comments. They could have disappeared the minute the bus dropped off on 429. No one has said they saw the kids after that except the mom and stepdad. Very, very possible. Very good theory. Also, someone had mentioned, where you all were mentioning about the kids. Why did one stay home if the other had a cough? That happens all the time with my students. And it's shocking to me. Like, if one child's home with a sore throat, all the kids stay home. But now we don't have a bus system, so maybe, that's it. But they have a bus system, so I don't know. But it's very common. Like, I'll say, where's so-and-so? Oh, his sister's sick today. So they're both home. Very common nowadays that I find in my school. Sorry, we have a siren going by. Lily would have screamed loud. Okay. Buzz as a professional when DV, CPS, and us advise no contact with perp. We say block on all social media, phone, emails, etc. And perp has to contact CPS to arrange any contact, but they assess the perp first. Wow. Thank you for that information. Okay, so they could have advised her no contact. Don't contact him. Makes you wonder if they missed the bus. So they called them in sick instead of getting up to get them to school. She might be in denial. She said they had, what did she say? I have it in a slide the way she says it. Let's go to the slide about what the mother said. That does not mean, yes, it was a very strange statement. And I have it written down so we could, hi, Bette Smith. Hey, welcome in everyone. Hi, Jerry Hamilton. Jerry thinks they were abducted by someone who lives nearby. Oh my, I do too. Oops, sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. You don't have to be talking to Black Skies. We're just happy you're in here. We're just happy you're here. Yes, I'm getting to that. Okay, so we're going to go to Mom's. Where did I put it? Right back here. There it is. Okay. Mom said they woke to them playing in the other room and they were drifting in and out of sleep. Not the kind of kids to go out. They go with them to watch them. They know not to. That I'm paraphrasing. They happened to get out that sliding door. They're outside playing and we weren't aware of it. We woke. It was quiet. She asked Daniel if he heard them. He said no. They got up instantly. We're looking outside and instantly call 911. We're going to continue. Dad is Cody Sullivan. I have things to share with you about the biological father who, according to the family, has no contact. I have things to share with you about Malehya's brother. So hit that notification bell. That's our next live. Hi, Raymond. We're glad you're here. We're talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan. She said they're good-looking kids. This is interesting. Good-looking kids, they will talk to anyone. They will talk your ear off. They will talk to anyone in a store. And probably because it's so rural. And that's another thing. Someone had said, why didn't the bus driver report them for the condition of that property? And you know what? We thought that too, like during summer wells. And you know what I learned? That's not uncommon conditions in those areas. So it doesn't like stand out as a sign of neglect or anything because it's common. Like in the hollers in Tennessee where Summer lived, the condition of her home showing up there, it's not shocking. It's in some areas how it is. So him pulling up there, it's just probably many of his homes are like that he picks up kids. Hi, Boo Sheet. How are ya? And then she says, they'll talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They'll talk to anyone in the store. They're just extremely sweet kids. We thought we maybe found tracks, but it's uncertain. She's being honest there. This was interesting. She said, let me fix it here because I can't see it. She said, we are pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not that they could possibly be abducted, which is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let people know they are missing. And that's not what Amber Alert is for. It's for abducted children, but she wants everyone to know because she said some people are telling her they don't know yet. Okay. She does express concern for the kids, raining and probably soaking wet, but with the sun, I'm hoping they are warm. We are filled with pain and sorrow. They are verbal. Now here's the comment we were talking about. They do have possible autism, but not extreme. Issues with school, and they don't catch up with other kids. So it could be a learning deficiency or a learning challenge. But she said possible autism, so it sounds like there's not a diagnosis there. She wants to remain hopeful, as in mother's mind does go to the worst places. Last night was the worst night because I didn't have them in their beds, and I don't want to go through that another night without them. That is the mother. Okay. That is the mother. Now we are going to meet the stepfather. Yeah, let me go ahead and show you the Amber Alert. Let me show you. I want to show you the Amber Alert. Oops, sorry.
You said they're flying in someone.
Let me get to it. Sorry, guys. I do want to show that to you. Here we go. Amber Alert criteria for Nova Scotia. In Nova Scotia, Amber Alerts are issued by police when they have confirmed a child under 18 or a person of proven physical or mental disability has been abducted. So they're not under 18 and they are not proven to be physically or mentally disabled or abducted. And the situation is time critical. The alert is only used when the police believe the victim is in danger of serious physical injury and there's information available to aid in their safe recovery. Ooh, yikes. Okay. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the criteria. Confirmed abduction. Police must have verified that an abduction has occurred. And that's what we're looking at in Tennessee too. Victim's age or disability. The victim must be under 18 years of age or have a proven physical or mental disability. The kids are under 18. Risk of injury. There must be a reason to believe the victim is in danger of serious physical injury. And they do have that fear because they don't believe they've survived the woods. So the only thing that they haven't checked off yet is that police have verified that an abduction has occurred, in my opinion. Informative details. There needs to be sufficient information available, such as the victim's description. They have that. The suspect's description, they don't have that as far as we know, or details about the vehicle involved, and they don't have that. That would be helpful to the public in finding the victim and the abductor. Timelines. The alert should be issued within a reasonable time frame after the abduction. So they have not been able to verify that the kids are abducted because they do fit the criteria of being under 18, reason to believe they could be in danger of serious physical injury because they said 5 days out there they wouldn't have survived. Sufficient of information available. Now they do have the kids, but like Tennessee, it says victim, suspect, or details about the vehicle involved. So they do fit in there because they have the victim's description. So what they do not have is verification that an abduction has occurred. I think so too, Dinkster, because the only reason I think that is because they weren't in school. And let me show you something a neighbor said. It's going to take me a second to find it. Sorry. There. Oh, didn't take so long. Okay, let me remove this. This is a neighbor. I have to wonder if they'll ever be found, let alone if we'll ever know the truth of what happened to them. They live 500 feet from me. I don't even remember, this is Canada. I didn't even know kids lived there at all. I thought it was a drug house. Oh my. Someone had come in and said, had we heard that they were taken for payment? Oh my, I had not. There's always cars there. And it's so odd to me, but I can't remember clearly if it was Wednesday or Thursday. But there was so many cars there on that particular day that the driveway was full and a car was even parked on the side of the main road. It was like 2 p.m. at the latest. And I remember driving past, judging them, thinking how they were probably in there sharing a crack pipe or whatever. LOL. And then boom, Friday, this all comes out. Later, like I'm in distress over it. It's all so effed. Yeah, that's a great point. The bus stops every day, so you would know kids live there. And if they're 500 feet away, great catch, Christina. Great catch. Yeah, so how often did the kids play outside actually? Well, let's look at that property again, because they say they play in the backyard, and maybe that's because of the way it's turned, the neighbors wouldn't see that. Here's for True says, well, now I question the neighbor. In my opinion, yes. They missed school, so whatever happened, in my opinion, happened. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. They missed school, so in my opinion, whatever happened, happened earlier. It could be 2 times a day. Yes, you got that, Christina. You're right. Twice a day the bus comes. So if my neighbor has a bus pulling up in front of their home, I would infer children are living there. Yeah, because it's not a bus stop. It's pulling up in front of their home at the end of the driveway, correct? This is another good question. How would the neighbor know the bus stop daily unless they're outside getting kids on the bus? Well, because they could hear it or see it through a window. You know, like I would know if a bus was pulling up to my neighbor, even if I'm not out there. Hold on. Because remember they said there's very little traffic, so I'm sure they notice the traffic that comes. The mom says they're verbal. The bio father sister says they're nonverbal. Well, but the bio father, from what I'm learning, and I may be wrong, does not have contact and is on house arrest. But that doesn't mean he doesn't know whether or not they're verbal or not. But I'm not sure how involved he is. That's interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Cece. But I question from him because he doesn't have involvement. I would tend myself, I don't know. That's a hard one. But he's not in their life. So I would tend to lean towards not what that family's saying, because they're not involved with the kids, but I could be wrong. You form your own opinions always, please. Thank you. Buses are not quiet, right? Yeah, you hear them. Oh, hi, Carol loves embroidery and crime shows. So the neighbor thinks there may have been a party going on there Wednesday or Thursday, and the kids were not in school Thursday or Friday. At 2 p.m. on Wednesday or Thursday. Car full, the driveway filled with cars. The kids were not at school that day. But it could have been Wednesday, she said. But then the kids were not in school the next day. They were off on Wednesday. So regardless, Wednesday or Thursday, the kids would have been home from school if they had a party. There were so many cars there on Wednesday or Thursday that the driveway was full and one was even parked on the side of the main road. And Wednesday school's closed, Thursday kids home. So both times the kids are home. Interesting, right? I don't know if the neighbor works and not sees the bus. I'm not sure. That's interesting. I want to go on Facebook and oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Find Summer's Truth. We will be praying for you here at Crime Time Buzz Community. Thank you for sharing and letting us know. My thoughts and heart goes to you, hon. Yeah, right? It could be a neighbor who's sketchy. Absolutely. We don't know. Let's listen to the stepdad. Who is he and his family are the ones out there searching, but some of the things he does say are odd. But let's watch. Let's watch stepdad. One thing that I wondered is stepdad does he brings up Jack taking off his pull-up a lot, that we would have found that. He brings up that Lily was wearing a pink shirt, a white backpack with pink strawberries, and he describes their boots. And I don't know how he has that kind of detail if they didn't see them. Listen to this. I think it's in these. Yes. So he says his family's the only one at ground zero. Malehya and the family left the county Saturday after a fight, and she blocked him. They haven't spoken. Excuse me, spoken. So Malehya flees the house Saturday, May 3rd. He said CPS told her to leave. Oh, someone said CPS told her to leave and not speak to him. Others say she left because of the fight. Okay. But now she took 16-month-old Meadow with her. That's Daniel and her child. And Daniel went to CPS then in Stellarton on May 8th. So between May 3rd, when mom flees, and May 8th, baby goes into CPS custody in Stellarton on May 8th to see Meadow and was refused. With the kids missing, CPS is keeping a tight leash on everything, Daniel says. So let's go ahead and listen to Daniel, the stepfather, who is out there searching. I saw an interview where he was holding up the pictures. Deception detective, he does not think that, he does not believe the story. Just letting you know. Let's watch it. Oops, sorry. Sorry, hold on. I forgot to go where I was supposed to go. There we go.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for.
Credit
I asked
CBC News.
for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
Okay. So he is asking for a poly, and they are bringing people in. Okay. And here is another interview from stepdad. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. We're going to have to go to a different window for this one. It's going to make me go to a different window. Hold on 1 second. Wiping his eyes.
That's all I can do. I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything.
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. 2 little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
Okay, let's get back to our slideshow. Oh, goodness. So I want to know what you guys think. He says he's the only one there, which he is the only one out there searching. Here he is again. He's in another little interview here. See if you're with me. Okay, we're going to just listen a little bit to him. Oh, darn it. Liked it better. Hold on 1 second. Okay, it's going to make me share this one too. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay.
By RCMP detachment Friday morning. For 6 days, there were boots on the ground, drones and helicopters in the sky. At a nearby RCMP detachment, the community has built a memorial with flowers and stuffed animals. People here are holding on to hope, and so is the family.
The last of RCMP in the area that I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family's still searching.
At one point, 160 people were out here searching. That help is gone, but the family isn't giving up. On Wednesday, RCMP insisted the search is ongoing. The family says this has been an extremely tough time. And on top of everything else, the rumors on social media has made it even more difficult. They were seen last Friday morning for
Okay. I mean, it's really interesting because the stepdad's the one out there. Now, mom, I thought maybe mom wasn't out there because, you know, she had the baby. Trying to get there we go. Sorry, that's what was going on. Okay.
outside this Nova Scotia home, a reminder of the heartbreaking absence. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan missing 6 days now. Their stepfather getting an update from RCMP officers. It's news he says he knew was coming, but didn't want to hear. Police are scaling back the search and rescue of the siblings, with hope dwindling.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Breaks my heart.
Breaks my heart.
The two kids' stepfather says they went missing last Friday, wandering from home while the parents slept in another room. Since, the RCMP has teamed up with a number of agencies, scouring a 4 square kilometer area around the home on foot and in the air, an area roughly the size of downtown Halifax, but heavily wooded and filled with downed trees. Terrain difficult to navigate for rescuers, let alone children. So far, not a single sign of the kids has been found beyond a small boot print near the house. Still, the RCMP says a smaller search will go on, with the force's major crimes unit continuing to play an active role. They aren't ruling out the possibility of a crime.
We're going to continue pursuing any leads or information that comes in.
Since the kids went missing, their stepfather says he's hardly had any contact with their mother. She took their 1-year-old to stay with her mother after a fight between the families broke out. He says people accuse him of being involved in the children's disappearance. When contacted, the mother and her family only told CBC News police advised them not to speak to media.
I'm absolutely exhausted at this point after going through 6 days of virtual hell. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm just fighting for Lily and Jack.
It's a case that has really captured the attention of this community and beyond, with many holding out hope for a much better conclusion.
When the RCMP says they're scaling back their search, what exactly does that mean?
Well, the first major thing is reducing the amount of resources on the ground. So personnel, but also equipment. The RCMP says it's also zeroing in on specific places they have already searched to ensure nothing was missed. And police say they are considering bringing in cadaver dogs. That's something that people are hoping won't be necessary.
All right, Sarah Levitt in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia tonight.
Okay. The latest press release from RCMP said RCMP said the children are believed to have wandered away from their home on Garlic Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County. The case is being treated as suspicious per protocol, as all missing persons cases are treated. Excuse me. As suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise. Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon said during a press conference, according to the CBC. And remember now, he said on May 8th, Daniel said he went to CPS to see Meadow and they refused him. And so he said that CPS is keeping a tight, watch on things because the kids went missing. So I don't know if mom is out there searching now. I see some of you asking, but with mom not having the baby now, I don't know if they're out there searching. It doesn't seem like they're having contact yet. Right now, really interesting, and I do want to go through really interesting this article. Because Robert Coaster, a search and rescue mission coordinator with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management in the U.S., wrote a book on lost person behavior, a search and rescue guide on where to look for land, air, and water. And he also created an app called Lost Person Behavior, which was used by the searchers in Lansdowne Station. It's called Lost Person Behavior. I want to look into that app. Coaster has collected a database of 500,000 search and rescue incidents from around the world and compiled them in a database, which he uses to create statistics. And I will pull that up if we... Oops, sorry. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to do that. So I was trying to pull that article up. But very interesting because he has a lot of statistics in there that he gave, and I think I closed it out, but let me see if I can get that pulled up. No, it's not going to do it. I thought I had the article down there. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, here's one. Missing kids in Pictou County, still search underway. It has been an agonizing 5 days for the family of Lily 6 and Jack 4. Now, Daniel mentions Jack may have taken off his pull-ups and his boots may have slipped off, and Lily may have dropped her backpack in this article. They say the lost pair aren't the outdoorsy type, that they were wanting to come back. Usually wanting to come back home as soon as their boots or clothes get wet or dirty. So this is highly unusual, Martell said. Typically, they play in the fenced-in backyard of the family's home. And I showed you that photo. I'll show it to you again. There are boot prints about 10 feet from the home and then nothing. Martell believes the children could have been abducted, but police say there is no evidence to suggest they were taken. And that is the only criteria in the Amber Alert that for Nova Scotia that is missing is verification that they were kidnapped. There are boot prints, or when asked by the Canadian press why he thinks the pair may have been abducted, Martell said, I have no idea why anyone would want to take them, but they're easy to take. If they would have wandered to the road, they would get in any car as long as you offered them food or water or even candy or anything like that. Or even to see mom and dad, they would immediately get in. Well, but if they knew mom and dad were home, interesting. Why would they get in for water? So there's the criteria that we, real quick, we went over the neighbor. I'm just making sure. I'm going to cover with you the bus driver later. Okay, so here's what we know. On April 29th, the last day, Lily and Jack Sullivan. Thank you so much, Raymond. That's so kind of you. Please thank Raymond if you receive his kind gift of a family Crime Time Buzz reunion membership. Our reunions are Saturdays at about 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, Raymond. Thank you very much. The last day they attended Salt Springs was April 29th, and it's a small rural school about 18-kilometer bus ride from their home. No school the next day, and the children were kept home May 1st and 2nd owing to illness, according to Martell. And yes, so one sick, both stayed home. Thank you, Gypsy. One sick, both stayed home. But I do see that a lot in my school. At approximately 10 a.m. on May 2nd, Miss Brooks-Murray calls 911 to report Lily and Jack missing. RCMP issue a vulnerable missing persons alert in Pictou County and ask for the public's help in locating the children who they say are believed to have wandered off from the home. Please do not issue an Amber Alert saying an abduction appears unlikely and the case does not meet the necessary criteria. May 3rd, 2025, RCMP, this is the second day after they go missing, RCMP issue a broadcast intrusive alert, a public cell phone notice that the children are missing to people in Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. The Mounties Major Crimes Unit becomes involved in the investigation, and that's on May 3rd. Major Crimes gets involved. Also on May 3rd, Mom, Miss Brooks-Murray, and Mr. Martell attend a briefing at the Search and Rescue Headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road. Mr. Martell said Miss Brooks-Murray leaves midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance. She departs with her mother, and Mr. Martell says he hasn't seen her since. She cuts off contact with him after this. So she leaves in the middle of the briefing. May 4th, Mr. Martell speaks to the Globe and the Globe Mail about what happened on the morning the children went missing. Lily came into the room multiple times. So let's pause there. Mom said she was sleeping in and out, and when she woke up, she did not hear them and they did not realize that they were outside playing. Mom didn't see them that morning. I seen her that morning and Jack was playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing, and they slid open the backsliding door. It's almost like silent to hear it sliding. They slid it open. The boots were right beside the door, and they proceeded to, well, I'm guessing, play outside. They must have got out through the back fence, and I'll show you that area again for those just coming in. There's an opening. And then they were gone. As soon as I seen they were gone, immediately jumped in the car and did all the dirt roads, all the culverts, checked over the rivers and the streams. Now, remember, as soon as I got home 10 minutes later, I headed out on foot. Now, remember what I shared with you about the population is there's a lot of back roads that go over rivers and all that and through the woods that only the locals know about. So I'm assuming that's kind of where he was driving through those roads. The RCMP requests the help of the Nova Scotia Guard on May 4th, a provincially organized volunteer group to aid in the search. More than 160 people, assisted by helicopter, drones, and tracking dogs, eventually take part in the effort to find the children in a heavily wooded area around the family's home. May 5th, 2025, searchers find no sign of the children, despite heavily scanning a 4 square kilometer area around their mobile home. A report that a child's boot print is found nearby sparks some focused searching in that area. May 6th, police take Mr. Martell, that's the stepfather, to the Pictou County District RCMP detachment in the town of Stellarton, where he is questioned for hours. Now, that's the same town he went to on the 8th to go see Meadow at CPS, where he is questioned for 4 hours. He said he was asked to go over details and timelines to the minute and draw on maps where he thinks the children could be. They're easy on me. Here's his quote. They're easy on me because they know I'm telling the truth about everything. End of quote. The chief of the Sepekne'katik First Nation, Michelle Glasgow, addresses speculation around the case and asks people to refrain from jumping to conclusions or sharing unverified information, as this can complicate the efforts of the multiple agencies involved in the ongoing investigation. She says the children's maternal grandfather is a member of the Mi'kmaq community. Amy Hansen of Colchester County Ground Search and Rescue says the search has been exhausting and thorough despite the difficult terrain, and that volunteers are not giving up hope of finding the children. May 7th, the RCMP in the morning arrive at the home and ask Mr. Martell to hand over his phone, which he said he did. When asked about how police are investigating the children's disappearance, maternal grandmother, this is Malehya's mother, Cindy Murray, tells the Globe, "We're not discussing anything right now. The police told us not to." So the maternal grandmother and the mom are not talking. And remember what Woman's Warrior said, that they advise them to, that sometimes if they're dealing with a perp, they'll advise them to cut all contact with them. RCM, so that's telling, because contact has been broken here, but we're not quite sure why yet, right? Is something going on? Were they told to? Now, so here it's saying they're told not to talk about the case. Well, we know that's normal because we hear that a lot. RCMP scale back the search for Lily and Jack on May 7th, and I hate that, acknowledging it's unlikely the children are still alive. "We're not packing it up. We're not giving up," says Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, District Commander for Pictou County District, RCMP. Mr. Martell said he handed over some of the children's stuffed animals to RCMP at the request of Miss Brooks-Murray. Lily's white unicorn and Jack's blue dinosaur. He said he also gave police the baby's white giraffe and the mom's pink bear. Mr. Martell told the Globe that police advised him they were bringing in cadaver dogs. This was May 7th. And RCMP divers to search nearby Lansdowne Lake. May 8th, RCMP searched the dense forest behind the home in a helicopter. Plainclothes investigators arrive again to speak with Mr. Martell. Basically, at this point, they just want to look at any tech that could help match up any phones that came into the yard, he said. That's an interesting statement. Basically, at this point, they just want to look at any tech that could help match up with any phones that came into the yard. I think what he's saying is to eliminate, probably, but that's an interesting way to look at why they want a phone. That afternoon, a friend drives him to Child Protective Services office in Stellarton, where he requests to see his 16-month-old daughter. This is on May 8th, but is denied. "As of now, I can't be around Meadow," he said during an interview the following day. "With the kids going missing, Child Protective Services wants to keep a tight leash on everything. So neither parents have the baby now." School board staff says teachers and students at Salt Springs Elementary have been provided with psychologists, counselors, and other resources to help with questions and providing calm coping strategies during this difficult time. Because that's a small community, very small, so I'm sure all the kids know. Lily and Jack have been missing for more than a week. Mr. Martell says he's been exceedingly cooperative with investigators. "I gave them everything from my phone. I asked for a lie detector test and drug tests. I'm the only one to move this forward and give any information that I have." He adds that police are looking at the wireless router in the home to see who connected to the internet at what times. A large RCMP truck is in the area. Mr. Martell says RCMP scoured Lansdowne Lake from above by helicopter and also went into the lake but found nothing. Wow. Okay, let's go back here real quick. I want to show you something. Now, Grandma, his mother, says, just to show you something, his mother states, this is Daniel's mother, states the kids were last seen Thursday night when they went to bed. And there's a post on Facebook. I forgot to put it up here. I'll get it up there next time. Okay. They were last heard, she said, playing in the bedroom Friday at 8:30. Mom and boyfriend fell back to sleep and woke to silence. Couldn't find the kids and called 911 at 9:40. So that gives 8:30, 9:30, an hour and 10 minutes that they were, well, I guess they fell back asleep. Okay. Okay. They have no contact with their biological father. There's some situation that I'll share with you with another family member. And then, very interesting. We'll have to go through all the family stuff and see what's going on. But neither of them have the baby right now. He says that they're bringing in people to do lie detector tests. What else have we learned? Hold on, let's go through a little update here. But the maternal grandma says, we're just hoping and praying for the best, that it's for our babies to come home. She said in a brief phone interview with the Canadian press, adding that police have advised the family against speaking with the public. So, and her daughter is Malehya. Let's go back through here. We saw that, the search, mom leaving the house, the boyfriend. So according to Daniel, here is what he says. Okay. This is Daniel. We heard the interviews, but I want to go through this a little bit. He said Lily was in and out of their room. Lily was wearing pink shirt and pink rain boots, carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. He didn't see Jack, but Jack is believed to be in brown pants and a shirt, probably from the night before, like someone mentioned. Hi, meow. With pull-up and blue rain boots with dinosaurs. Now, how would he know what rain boots he has on? Wait a minute. How would he know what rain boots he has on if he didn't see Jack that day? Oh, because they're missing. Okay, maybe that's why. They last heard Jack playing in the kitchen Friday at 8:30 a.m. Mom and boyfriend fall back to sleep, woke to silence, couldn't find the kids, and called 911. Now, this says at 9:40, but interesting. So he's got a lot of detail here for the kids, seeing the kids, right? Interesting. He's asked for a poly. Their side, the maternal side of the family, does not believe him, is what he's saying. And we went through that. So now I just want to go real quick again to the pictures of the area. And I closed out that article on the statistics, and I should have not done that, but I want to show you the area here. Where's all the photos? Sorry, guys, hold on. Huh. Oh, there we go. Okay. And we verified that they have a pre-primer class for Jack to go to, and that school was closed. Here's the area. And if I take you to maps, let me take you to maps real quick. I'm going to share this instead. Hold on. I want to share maps with you real quick. Okay, this is the area. You seeing it? Okay. I'm going to blow it up a little bit for you. This is the kids. This is the area they live in. And this is right about where their home is. The neighbor would be about 500 feet, but look at this terrain. Look at that. That's right across the road. Like someone said, check across the road. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's quite a vast area. So a couple of things that we're going to revisit is we're going to come back to the father, the biological father. So hit that notification bell. We are going to, I'm going to keep you updated for sure, but I have another sibling I want to talk to you about that's in the mix. And then we'll talk a little bit about the family dynamics. But if this neighbor's correct, and they did indeed, let's go back to that party, because that timeline, think about that for a second. So see, it says there's a network of backcountry roads that only the locals know, crisscrossing over rivers and dense forests, swarming with black flies, and that logging trucks, a few local cars, and the school bus are the only usual traffic. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's where the scent stopped again. This is their home. That's that slider that right here. Here's their exit point that was supposed to be a very silent slider. Now, if anyone has a slider in their home, in my opinion, I've never had a silent one, but this does not look like a newer one. Looks like one, it might make a little noise. But here we go. This is the backyard. Okay. This is where the grandma lives. What is this, though? Look at this. This does not look very safe, in my opinion. It reminds me so much of Summer's place. But here's an opening in their back fence that the kids could have anytime wander out of, right? At any time. Where are they? Let me see. Yes, let's go to that party because I hope everyone in that party is being questioned. Send stop. Sorry, guys. I don't know what page it was on, but we'll get to it. The party. Let's get to it here. Sorry, y'all. There. Okay. The neighbor says, I have to wonder if they'll ever be found, let alone if we'll ever know the truth of what happened to them. They live 500 feet from me, eh? I don't even know kids live there at all. I didn't even know kids live there at all. We hear that a lot in cases, don't we? I thought it was a drug house. There's always cars there, and it's so odd to me. I can't remember clearly if it was Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. Thursday being May 1st, Wednesday being April 30th when the school was closed. So school closed on Wednesday, the kids are home. Thursday, they're home also because Lily has a cough. Both kids are kept home. So if indeed this party occurred on Wednesday or Thursday around 2 p.m. at least, the kids would have been around. So there's always cars there, and it's so odd to me, but I can't remember clearly if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but there was so many other cars there on that particular day that the driveway was full, and a car was even parked on the side of the main road. So it filled the driveway. It was like 2 p.m. at the latest. I remember driving past, judging them, thinking how they were probably in there sharing a crack pipe or whatever, LOL, and then boom, Friday, this all comes out. Like I'm in distress over it. It's also effed. And let's end by looking again where the scent ended. I've got other stuff I'm going to add in there for you. Where the scent ended. So this is where our scent ends. Hold on. And it shows a busy driveway, but they have a lot of cars in their driveway, right? Oh, sorry, guys. They have a lot of cars in their driveway. So let's go back to it. Sorry. Okay. It's right there. Let's go back. Look at, so there are a lot of cars in here. Now, unless this picture was taken that day and that's the one being on the side of the road. Do you see that? There's one on the side of the road here. So if this photo was taken, that's interesting, but there are a lot of cars in the driveway here. Some of them don't even look like they're working. See? They're like abandoned. This one looks abandoned almost. Let's look at it. Maybe, I don't know. It looks like they're working on them. There's some tires. It's very dangerous, though, in my opinion, all the stuff that's laying around for the kids. And there's the area they would have exited out of. That in itself isn't safe. Playing down here doesn't look safe to me. There's another door over here. Jack and Lily. Hi. Yes. Hi, Robin. Yes, please. Let's lift them up. Let's find out bring them home, find out what happened. Nova Scotia, Canada. They were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2nd. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Jack is 4, Lily is 6. They had not been in school Thursday or Friday, and school was closed Wednesdays for a teacher work day in service, and they have not been seen. Parents claim to not know where they are, but heard them playing in the morning, and they exited from the ever so silent sliding glass door. The scent stopped at the end of the driveway, and they found a small boot print that could have been one of the kids. So they exhausted that area in searching and found no other clues. There have been no other clues. They do not qualify for an Amber Alert. They do not qualify for an Amber Alert because the one thing that isn't checked off on their Nova Scotia criteria is verifying it was a kidnapping. I hope so. I hope everyone at that party is being investigated and neighbors' properties being searched with permission. No one should say no, in my opinion. Right. And if they're seeing who checking the router to see who connected or who pinged in there, hopefully they'll know if there were many people there. Do you recall when Summer Wells went missing? There was rumored to have been a big alleged drug party the night before or so. So very reminiscent of Summer's environment, in my opinion. I hope that we find these kids soon, very soon. And I want to thank you all for being here to listen to Lily and Jack Sullivan's story. Hit the notification bell if you will. Subscribe to the channel on your way out. We are going to be talking about some of the relatives information that I found or that I've learned and some other updates as they come along. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. It is good to see you, and I will see you tomorrow. Prayers up for Jack and Lily Sullivan. Do you think it is foul play from family? Do you think someone picked the kids up while the parents were sleeping and they were out playing? What do you think? What's your theory? Do you think the kids wandered off into the woods and no one's picked them up and they have not been located? Leave a comment below and let me know what your theory is. Thank you so much. Yes, a weeknight party. But remember, Daniel's I guess someone said one shift a week, but he said it's very slow there. So he wasn't at work Friday either. So I'm wondering if he was there at work Thursday. But they'll get that information. Digital forensics is amazing nowadays. So you think abduction, okay. You think they were taken for an owed debt, okay. That's how I felt about Summer too. When I was young, I had a friend who lived in a kind of junkyard, and we loved it. Probably get pretty dangerous, but we learned how to navigate hazards, and we used to play in abandoned houses. Yeah, we used to play outside all the time, right? Frank thinks it's BS, the narrative. Okay. Well, we are watching. We will see what's going on. Did they wander? Are they lost? Did they get out while mom and stepdad were sleeping and get to that end of the road and someone picked them up? Did something else happen on those days that they were not at school when there's an alleged party going on and things being said? So we're going to have to hit that notification bell and keep waiting and watching and praying it's not too much longer because these children need to be found. Thank you so much for being here. Lily and Jack Sullivan out of Nova Scotia, Canada. Prayers up, and I will speak to you tomorrow, my friends. Always a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow with our video on Sebastian Rogers. Talk soon.